Let's have a closer look at a very special Dakar competitor today, the Century CR6. The South African team Century is building rally-rate cars for a long time, and the CR6 is their latest design. They designed the car with three main priorities: simple, easy, affordable. The car is a buggy, so it has rear-wheel drive and is based on a tube frame. It weighs less than 1,500 kg and uses the LS7 engine of the Corvette, which is a 7-liter V8 with around 500 horsepower. In comparison to that, Audi's Dakar competitor weighs 600 kg more. The LS7 is a simple and reliable engine. Parts are relatively cheap and easy to get. And it's pretty simple to work on this engine, in contrast to other race engines. The engine is naturally aspirated, which keeps things simple and with 500 horsepower overpowered. That means it can be detuned by restrictors for any kind of competition. So in the Dakar they are using 36 to 38 mm restrictors. That, on the other hand, keeps the reliability up because the engine is designed for a higher power output. If we look at the structure of the car, we have the engine sitting behind the cockpit and the gearbox longitudinally behind it. There are two fuel tanks at the sides to not extend the wheelbase too much and to keep the balance change during a stage at a minimum. Additionally, the two spare wheels are mounted at the sides for low inertia. The main cooling sits at the front, where it can be mounted lower for a lower center of gravity. And the high pressure at the front of the vehicle can be used for efficient cooling. The air intake for the engine is at the top for the cleanest possible air, and it flows through a cylindrical filter. Here, the air flows in a circle where it loses all large particles, and the clean air can flow to the center and towards the engine intake. If we look at the design of the frame, we can see that it's relatively open at the back for better serviceability of the engine. The back part of the gearbox is housed in a separate frame, which can be removed easily for better access. So no suspension member mounts to it. The coilovers can be reached easily from the side and can be easily removed without a wishbone in the way. The exhaust is basically a straight pipe with two small mufflers at the back. That means it's light, easy to repair, and sounds great. We can also see the angled position of the rear dampers to take longitudinal stress off the suspension members when you hit large rocks. The protection to the front is a straight and simple metal plate. You can easily rebuild this yourself. Also, the cockpit is functional and simple. The side windows are straight and can be cut from a standard plate. The windscreen is relatively steep, which keeps it short. Also, it avoids too much heating under the sun and reflections. So it's a very functional design in comparison to other manufacturers. Also, the dashboard is kept very simple. It is really a straight board and systems can be reached easily. Also, they use a simple standard steering wheel. In terms of aerodynamics, they opted for an aerodynamic basic shape with a flat front with angled front radiator and with a low rear for less wake behind the car. The front rear wake is being pushed outside and kept far away from the side windows for good visibility, even at longer stages. To reduce the lift created by the downward slope of the back, they installed a simple rear wing. The wheel arches feature louvers to release air and to reduce lift and drag. At the side we can see some additional intakes for some cool flow through the engine bay. The mirrors are quite a nice detail because they use their stagnation point to guide a bit of more air inside the cabin, just like the McLaren 650S GT3. So, with their constant improvement, Century today is providing a simple machine that is easy to maintain and affordable. In comparison, prices for the BRX Hunter start at €800,000. The CR6 is at around €300,000. Of course, it's a buggy and not a T1 Plus vehicle, but it's enough to compete in the highest category and to get into the top 10. In terms of setup, Century used their experience and created one of the most comfortable cars among the grid. A soft suspension setup does not just help with traction, it also helps to keep passengers concentrated over a longer period of time, and it reduces the vibrations that the car experiences, which in return improves reliability. For Century, it's important to offer a car that gets people into racing at a reasonable price. And that's the reason why the Century buggies are so popular. In this year's Dakar Rally there are 10 of them participating. But 2 of them are special. Since Century made big steps in recent years, they want more now to close the gap to the T1 Plus teams. So they were looking for a turbo engine which could provide them more power and torque. Because they have 2 fuel tanks either side of the engine, they didn't really want to have 2 turbochargers close to there. So they were looking for a V6 turbo engine with the turbochargers inside and the cooler intake outside. Ferrari and McLaren V6 engines have 120-degree bank angle, which makes the engine too wide for the buggy tube frame, and these machines are quite expensive. So they chose the 2.9-liter V6 turbo engine of the Audi RS4. It delivers 450 horsepower and 600 Nm. It's quite complex compared to the simple Corvette V8, but Century was quite happy with its reliability. A new challenge was the cooling, because they now need an intercooler. So Century designed a new bodywork for the buggy. The roof scoop got bigger and we can see how the intercooler and air filter are fed from it. But the job was to keep the tube frame the same, and so the massive scoop runs through the interior and to the back. The back of the new bodywork is much more open to release hot air. In return, the top side is closed a bit more for cleaner flow around the car. And instead of the wing, they changed to a ducktail at the back. Also, they now installed a blade behind the front wheels to keep the front wheel weight close to the car, to reduce drag. So all in all, Century developed a simple, affordable, easy to handle and easy to drive car that gets drivers into the top category of racing. With their simplicity, raw speed and reliability, they can aim at top places at top categories now. And they are now working on a T1 Plus vehicle for next year, so that will be an exciting new competitor. How do you like the Century CR6? Let me know in the comments below and check out my other videos for more details on Dakar competitors.